comes a moment when life as you knew it ends not because you wanted it to, but because it had to. And in that ending, you realize that recovery isn't about going back. It's about becoming new. I thought wholeness meant fixing myself, getting better, doing more, becoming like I was before. But wholeness, I've learned, is quieter. It's when you finally say, I may be cracked, but I still shine. Welcome to InspireAbility, where we explore what it really means to rebuild after change and to thrive, not in spite of it, but through it. I'm Ruby, and today's episode is deeply personal. It's about how we find our way back to ourselves after everything we knew. Our plans, our bodies, our identities have changed. When I became disabled, I thought my life had shattered beyond repair. But over time, I discovered that rebuilding isn't about replacing broken pieces. It's about weaving gold through the cracks. Because becoming whole again is not about perfection. It's about integration. It's about saying, this happened, it hurt, and I'm still here. The day everything changed was both sudden and slow. One moment, life was ordinary. The next, everything felt foreign. The hospital lights, the endless forms, the feeling that your body is no longer your own, it's disorienting. In those early weeks, I wasn't just recovering physically. I was losing the version of myself I had built over decades. The professional, the mother, the strong one, she was gone. But here's the truth. Sometimes life has to break you open for you to really see yourself. Breaking is brutal, yes, but it's also revealing. It strips away the noise, leaving only what's real. And that's where rebuilding begins, not with plans or goals, but with honesty. Honesty about what's lost, and the courage to believe there's something worth finding beyond it. No one tells you that after the chaos of crisis, the hospital visits, the paperwork, the visitors, comes a deep silence. The world goes back to normal, but you can't. That silence is where reality sinks in. The moment you realize, this is my new life now. At first I fought it. I tried to rush through recovery to prove I was fine. But healing doesn't happen on demand, it happens in surrender. So I sat in that silence and listened to my grief, my anger, my disbelief. And slowly I began to see that healing wasn't about pushing through, it was about allowing myself to be cared for, allowing myself to be fragile, allowing the silence to teach me what strength really means. Rebuilding begins with the smallest of steps, sometimes literally. For me, it started with reclaiming simple routines, making tea, sitting outside for sunlight, writing a few lines in a journal. They were tiny acts, but they were mine. Each one whispered, you're still here. I remember working with a client who had survived a stroke. He told me, I can't do what I used to. I smiled and said, maybe you're meant to do something new. Rebuilding isn't replication, it's creation. It's giving yourself permission to live differently and knowing that different can still be beautiful. When I finally stopped striving to be whole in the traditional sense, I realized I already was. Every scar, every limitation, every tear was part of my becoming. They didn't diminish me, they deepened me. Wholeness, I learned, is not the absence of pain, it's the presence of peace. I began to see beauty in the imperfect, in the way my children adapted without complaint, in how laughter returned at unexpected moments, in how my story, though messy, had power. That's when I understood the truth. Wholeness isn't something you find, it's something you decide to see. Wholeness is an ongoing process, not a destination. It's in how we show up each day, even when we don't have all the answers. It's in how we learn to love the version of ourselves that survived. I began mentoring others, advocating for disability inclusion, and rebuilding a new rhythm, one rooted in purpose, not perfection. And the more I shared my story, the more I realized we're all rebuilding something, a body, a dream, a sense of identity, and every single one of us has gold running through our cracks, because what breaks us can also build us if we let it. Becoming whole again doesn't mean you'll never feel pain. It means you've learned to live with compassion for yourself even in the pain. You are not broken, you are becoming. So take a moment today to ask yourself, what part of me is ready to be rebuilt, not back to what it was, but forward into something new? If this episode resonated, share it with someone who's rebuilding too. Subscribe to InspireAbility for more stories of resilience and growth. No matter the challenge, remember, you can live fully, thrive with support, and keep moving forward with hope. This is InspireAbility. Let's rise together, uniquely us.